Good day, everyone. We are the Group 5, so we will discuss social media and the Generation Z. So these are the things that we need to discuss. For the introduction, we will discuss social globalization, globalization and social media, globalization and Generation Z. Next is Generation Z and social media. We will discuss characteristics of Gen Z, social media consumption of Gen Z. Next is the effects of social media on Gen Z's well-being, the positive and negative effects of consuming social media, and combating negative effects in consuming social media.
Social globalization refers to the increasing integration of production, development, and communication among nations on a worldwide scale. The exchanging of ideas and information between and across countries is referred to as social globalization. Social globalization is evident in the similarities of social trend between cultures, from consumerism to arts and humanities. So ang social globalization nag-refer sa pag-increase sa integration production, sa development o sa communication across nations. Og nag-refers pod sa pag-exchange sa ideas og information between og across countries. Then, ang parallel sa social pattern sa tibuok civilization nga gikan sa consumerism to the arts kay evidence of social globalization as well as humanities. For McDonald's, Ford Motor Company, and Amazon. This is the example of social globalization. The McDonald's had 39,198 fast food restaurants in 119 countries and territories according to its Securities and Exchange Commission filing at the end of 2020. It employed more than 2.2 million people at the time. Then, the Ford Motor Company is reported in 2021 that is worked with about 1,200 tier 1 supplier around the globe. Then, the Amazon recent expansion has it using tens of thousands of suppliers and employing more than nearly 1.3 million full and part-time employees. Globalization and social media. So, globalization and social media, the current focus of globalization of technology is the connections created by networks of social media. Social media is a brilliant tool that can be easily used by those who have access to it. As access is gained globally, it creates opportunities to those who are first experiencing the use of outsourced ideas. Ang current focus sa globalization karon sa technology is ang connections nga gibuhat sa network sa social media. Ang social media is isa ka brilliant tool nga dali ra gamiton sa bisan kinsa basta naalang kay access ani. Social media creates opportunities to those who are first experiencing the use to outsource ideas. Then, ang advantage sa globalization and social media is we can participate creatively and actively para ma-share nako or nimo ang atong atong own ideas or opinion sa media. Free communication, disclose different information, and benefits from its speed and variety. The last one is the role of social media in the globalization. Social media has transformed the way that people communicate during the 21st century. This occurrence has transformed society in the globalization world by impacting social interactions, financial institutions, and ways of completing transactions, ways of communicating, as well as the educational sector. So, ang role sa social media sa globalization is the mass are today seen as playing a key role in enhancing globalization. Facilitating cultural exchange and multiple flows of information and images between countries through international new broadcast, television, programming, new technologies, film, and music. There have been expansive changes during the last few decades in regards to technology. But most importantly, how technology allow us as a society to communicate with one another. Then, with the spread of the internet po, new platform of communication such as, for example, web, kay nag-emerge that have actually changed not only the means of communication but also how people actually communicate with one another.
Relationship between globalization and Generation Z. This generation has been molded by the forces of globalization, creating a society that is increasingly related and interdependent in terms of economic integration, communications, interactions, and cultural diffusions. Gen Z influenced complex social networks that span the globe largely through social media. Researchers have also indicated that there are early signs of Gen Zers gravitating towards job security, choosing employment within the government officials, as well as within the health and science localities. It's also a generation improving the standard success metrics, changing it far from fame and fortune to ethics and values. We cannot deny the fact that because of technology, this generation we have right now is the most globalized compared to past generations. Because of how high-tech we are, people could effortlessly share a culture even beyond national boundaries. The role of technology has increasingly influenced the lives of every individual. This generation had prevailed as the most educated and diverse amongst. This is because even pandemic has brought havoc on everyone. The use of technology and social media advantages all to still communicate on behalf of the protocols to avoid interaction physically. We have been brought to an era wherein technology serves as a weapon to influence and at the same time freely nurture ourselves. But this impacted negatively as well. This is for the reason that even when a time for a bond or get together with peers and family, we still chose to use our devices and pay all our attention to them. Relationship between Generation Z and social media. Social media has a lot of platforms that help Gen Z interact with others, disclose themselves, generate their own opinion on issues, and even gain confidence. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat are the known platforms of social media that Gen Z have been using. I cannot imagine that this generation will have that someone who hasn't even one of those. Many Generation Z says social media expands their world. This is because they evolved with technology, internet, and social media, which sometimes results in them being stereotyped as tech addict. Compared to older generations which are only prone to television, Gen Z spends much time on their phones and computers to communicate or interact with peers and other people. They are the first grown generations in the digital era, which made them generate standards in how they use their time online. Almost half of Gen Zs are minorities, and the majority of Gen Z support social movements such as Black Lives Matter, LGBT rights, feminism, even economics and political concerns. This generation is not scared to team up and address their issues. Gen Z listens to issues of society and even gives empathy, which gives an impression for perfect growth. They're more liberal and diverse because of how exposed their lives to a whole bunch variety of things, which enables them to know how other cultures have been through and as well as to understand such. By the use of social media, Gen Z would be able to advocate willingly against any other oppression, even giving opinions to people using any other kinds of platforms. However, the use of social media also harms individuals. It promotes negative experiences such as appearance, lifestyle, and even financial life situation, which leads to having depression, stress, anxiety, loneliness, self-harm, unworthiness, and even suicidal thoughts. 4 characteristics of Gen Z. Number 1, racial diversity. The difference in race, sexual orientation, and region can be empowered through the use of social media that this generation is capable of. Number 2, digital natives. Another characteristic is their native use of technology. Gen Z was born in innovative technology wherein issues are everywhere and tones of information are freely accessible. Number 3, financial mindedness. They are pragmatic and financial mindedness. Gen Z has been prominent to conflicts about family financial needs, which enables them to realize about helping by generating own business online. Number 4, mental health. A sad characteristics of Gen Z along using social media. As I said, because of trends, others were even more eager to be another person just to fit in. This made them feel the anxiety that lose themselves in the process.
Social media consumption of Generation Z. It's crucial to understand how Generation Z spends their time and uses social media. Social media in particular has a profound effect on how young people relate to one another. Zillennials happen to live in modern society wherein technology, the internet, and various social media platforms mutated into the all-consuming parallel of the world, and that is today. Generation Z is social media natives, for they spend hours utilizing during their free time. Generation Z is a passionate group, whether advocating for social justice issues, being vocal about their beliefs, or finding ways to make the world a better place. Generation Z is paving the path for change. Social media is giving this generation more opportunities to harness power than previous generations. Reasons why Zillennials are obsessed with social media. Social media is everything these days. It's rare to see someone that have at least one form of social media platform that they are using. When it comes to millennials, this is our life. Generation Z use social media constantly throughout the day, whether it is for their job, for fun, or to connect with people. In today's world, you are seeing more and more people addicted to social media. When I say addicted, it means it it will be very difficult for one to look at their social media throughout the day. You check it even if you just checked it a couple of minutes ago. So we don't really think that we might be addicted to it, but it's so easy to do, and I'm here to tell you why millennials are addicted to social media. First, we love to share, inspire, and entertain. We are in a world where we love to show everyone what we are doing. Our generation, we enjoy sharing our lives with friends and family. We love to inspire others with the things we do in life. We love to entertain by what we post, what we do, and who we are. Even if it's on Facebook and sharing that what restaurant we are at, we love to share our lives with others. Second, we express who we are. We express who we are through photos, posts, shares, retweets, and stories, whether that is posting a selfie in a stylish outfit or posting a picture hiking up Mount Everest. It doesn't matter what we post, we are expressing our personality and identity for everyone to see. The third one is we want to show off the things we are doing. So we want people to know what we are doing something fun or doing something that others would want to do. We want people to know that have a fun life, even if it's just normal. We enjoy sharing things that we do, but sometimes we do things just to post them on social media. They sound kind of silly, but our generation want people to know that we have a fun in and interesting life. So that the fourth one is we get excited and feel good when we receive comments. Reassures our self-esteem when people comment or compliment our post. So this is not only millennials, but everyone loves to get comments on something they are proud of or something they enjoy. When posting a photo, we check our phones constantly, seeing how many likes we get or comments we're getting. We love when someone compliments us, so we need to feel secure in ourselves. So it reassures our self esteem, which is not healthy. We should feel good about ourselves regardless of what we are posting on social media. Next is we like to connect with people and build relationships. When we like other people's posts, we want them to notice or want them to know what we enjoy, what they are posting. Getting their attention is a way of connecting with that person. So it is also a great way to gesture to friends or family. We are a generation of building relationships. We want to have many relationships and a lot of people that we can call our friends or someone that we know. The sixth one will be we are afraid of missing out on information. So we check our media platforms constantly throughout the day to see if someone has posted something fun and interesting. We don't like missing out on seeing things that we are doing, whether it is someone famous or a friend or even someone that we don't know. But we want to know. We enjoy seeing what our friends and others are doing in their lives. Seventh is we envy someone who has it all. So we often obsess over trying to be like someone else. We look up to people and envy people that have more than us or quote one quote has it all. We see that person that has over 1,000 or million followers and want to be just like them. We try to mimic things they do to be just like them. That is not only with social media, but with clothing, lifestyle, you name it. When you envy someone or want to be like a particular person, you do things that they do. So we need to be our people. The eighth one is we love to be inspired and entertained. A lot of times we love being entertained by others and love it when we see the fun and things that spark our interest. We are also a generation that has a big dreams and inspirations. So we want to be inspired. We follow people that we look up to and drive to the things to get us where they are. Generation Z statistics. Generation Zers spend 8 plus hours a day online. 95% of teens report they have a smartphone or access to one. Over 32% of Gen Z transactions happen on a mobile devices. 31.8% of Gen Zers would like to receive emails from brands a couple of times a week. 55% of Gen Z use their smartphones for 5 or more hours a day. 33% of Gen Z were persuaded to buy something after seeing it on social media. 43% of Gen Zers would participate in a product review. Good company ratings and review makes 62% of Gen Z feel confident to buy. Next slide, please. So this is facts about Gen Z. This this picture shows number one. 74% of Gen Zers spend their free time online. The Gen Z population is highly connected. The majority are spending their free time online, and 66% report using more than one device connected to the internet at a time. Members of this age group mostly use their devices to communicate with friends and family and for entertainment. Gen Zers spend 8 hours a day online. So, as digital natives, most of the Generation Z population spends at least 1 hour online every day. According to Generation Z statistics, screen time across multiple screens, smartphones, tablets, laptop, desktop, and TVs is estimated at 8 hours. This fact not only influences how they obtain information and form opinions, but also aspects like emotional well being and the ability to stay unconnected. 73% of Gen Zers use their internet connected devices primarily for texting and chatting. This includes much of the time spent on social media. 59% mostly use their devices to access entertainment, 58% to play games, 36% to do schoolwork, 28% to learn new things, and only 17% for shopping and browsing. These numbers vary substantially between men and women, though, with far more female members indulging in gaming and many more female Generation Z consumers spending time on chatting and texting. So, this picture shows a 95% of teens report when they have a smartphone or access to one, while the youngest Gen Z users might not be allowed to use smartphones of their own. Members of this cohort do start using electronic devices earlier than previous generation. This element of Generation Z statistics is a remarkable 20% increase over the 73% of teens who stated this on 2014. Generation G consumers are 2 times more likely to shop on mobile devices than millennials. Concerns like the safety of mobile transactions or the size of the screen don't seem to plague this generation. It's critical, then, that businesses get their mobile game right and overhaul the shopping experience they provided for this mobile friendly audience. Over 32% of Gen Z transactions happens on a mobile devices, as Generation Zers spend more time on their mobile devices than any other generation. It's not a surprise that over a third of transactions happen on a mobile device. 58% of Gen Z users check their email multiple times a day. Certain Generation Z facts and trends can upend general held notions. One of these is that this age group isn't exactly bringing about emails demisses. Less than 1% of Gen Zers never check their email. Since almost 67% of Gen Zers receive 20 or fewer emails in a day, marketers face a lot less competition for their messages in this phase format than they do in some other channels. 64.9% of Gen Zers use email for personal communication, proving that a majority prefer to use email even when they have other channels at their disposal, such as texting.
And I would be discussing the effects of social media on Generation C's well-being. To start, social media is any website that allows social interaction. Generation C's have never known a world without Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat because they grew up in a digital and social media world. Next is the positive effects of consuming social media. First is communicate and stay updated. Social media allows people to stay in touch with their friends and communities, engage in online conversation, participate in collective coping and processing of stressful life disruptions, and stay up to date on news and current events. Social media plays a big role in terms in communication because our daily routine changed. We cannot meet our friends, loved ones, relatives face to face because of this pandemic. It causes us stress because we didn't expect this to happen, but with the use of social media, we can stay updated and being connected with our loved ones and be updated of the news, especially the things that are happening in our surroundings and to the other country that experiencing the COVID-19. The next one is find new friends. So in social media, you can find a lot of new friends with the use of new apps nowadays, such as Facebook, Instagram, and many other apps that are releasing today. With the use of social media also, you can stay connected and meet new friends around the globe. The third one is enhance social skills. If you have a problem in communicating offline, social media helps us develop social skills in a space where we have ample or enough time to think about our actions before we act and also find people with similar interests in life. The fourth one is timely information. Social media helps us people to have sufficient information, especially nowadays we are facing the COVID-19. We need to be updated from time to time what are the things that happenings in our surroundings and across the globe. So, the next one is the socialization. Socialization is the process to be socialized or having the quality to be accepted in the society. In this way, social media gives the utmost platform to interact with different people, scroll through their daily activities to venture into a new world of different possibilities. And also, social media is a powerful tool for connecting with others. It's important, especially for developing younger generations, to still practice in-person interactions. It can strengthen their communication skills, relationship among others, sense of responsibility, social skills, and the most important thing is the self-esteem. Next one is the opportunities. In education, the opportunities in social media are plentiful. Some of the potential opportunities include collaboration, access to clinical experts, access to information from a number of different sources, connectivity among users, and the ability to disseminate information. In terms in opportunities in employment, hiring managers and recruiters use social media to source candidates, to post jobs, and to accept job applicants. And the last one is Make life easier. Social media makes our life much easier and better. It helps us maintain relationship by making it easy to reach family and friends who live far. It also closes the gap created by distance, and it also makes us easier to access information relevant to one's social life.
If there is a positive effects of consuming social media, of course, the Gen Z are aware of the bad effects social media may have on them. So these are the following negative effects of consuming social media. The first one is comparison. Comparison because social media works as a highlight reel, meaning everyone shares their best moments in life. So comparison is a trap set by social media. And by triggering a comparison with others, it can raise doubts about self-worth, potentially leading to mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. Next is the constant pressure. Like with the development of social media in recent years, the Gen Z are now constantly bombarded with news, entertainment, and a never-ending link to what their peers are up to. So as a result, they are constantly assaulted with stories and images that influence their worldview and convey beliefs about what their peers consider normal and essential. The next is the spread of hate and misinformation. Of course, as we all know, the social media has a lot of fake news anywhere. So it makes people unlovable by encouraging disagreement, provoking harsh replies, and rewarding unpleasant behavior. Next is the inadequacy about your life or appearance because social media provides conventional media with an immediate outlet to disseminate stories and photographs to the general public. So even if you are aware that the photographs you're seeing on social media have been edited, so they can still make you feel anxious about your appearance, what's going on in your own life, so you can't help but feel envious and dissatisfied. The next is the fear of missing out. Like when Gen Z watch their peers attending parties, concerts, and having trips, they feel a strong desire to keep up in order to avoid being left out of the group. The next is the cyberbullying. So around 10% of the Gen Z say they've been bullied on social media, and many others have received nasty comments. So Twitter and other social media platforms can be hotbeds for spreading hurtful rumors, lies, and abuse that can leave emotional scars. Next is the stress because Gen Z face an additional source of stress in their life because they are always concerned about what is written about them on social media. Social media is like a conundrum for them since it is their primary source of information. Yet it can also be a source of great sadness and sorrow. So how can we set boundaries in our social media usage to avoid this negative effects? So these are the proactive strategies for combating the negative effects in consuming social media. The first one is be mindful of your own social media habits because being mindful entails becoming more aware of our habits and tendencies. Because so much of our social media usage is based on mindless scrolling. So the greatest approach to regain control is to become more aware of how we use social media in the first place. The next one is reduce time online. We need to set limits on the amount of time we spend on social media. The next is change focus. So we need to know when it's time to stop scrolling because a lot of what we do on social media is compulsive. Next is use social media to connect with people who inspire you, share similar interests, and provide a sense of belonging. So it is important to use social media in a good way that strengthens and sustains relationship. The next is if an account stir up negative emotion, then it's time to unfollow. And if certain people posts make you feel negative about yourself in any way, then it's totally okay to hit the unfollow button because we have the power to exit social media and the moment we start feeling negative in any way. So that's the time to disconnect. And as we all know, social media can influence our mood, anxiety levels, and self-esteem. So taking a few moments to eliminate toxic accounts can be a very simple yet empowering thing we can do for ourselves. The last is practice mindfulness because experiencing FOMO and comparing yourself unfavorably to others, it keeps you dwelling on life's disappointments and frustrations. So by practicing mindfulness, you can learn to live more in the present moment. So it lessen the impact of FOMO and improve your overall mental well-being. So in conclusion, Generation Z is always on social media throughout the day, whether it's for work, fun, or social interaction. Individuals do it for a variety of reasons. So they use social media to express themselves through images, posts, shares, retweets, and tales, as well as to share, inspire, and entertain others. So they primarily use their gadgets for entertainment, gaming, academics, learning new things, and shopping and browsing. So all of this could have an impact on their social lives as social media use can lead to psychological needs such as they are more likely to spend time on social media than they do with their real friends. Next is they compare themselves negatively to others on social media and they have experiencing cyberbullying. or cyberbullying. Next is they having no time for self-reflection, participating in risky behavior to get likes, shares, or favorable responses on social media. And the last is they having a sleep issues and it exacerbate anxiety or depression symptoms. That's all. Thank you.